flame on max. I'ma keep it going till there ain't nothing left. Going till there ain't nothing, keep the flame on max. I'ma keep it going till there ain't nothing left. Going till there ain't nothing, keep the flame on max. I'ma keep it going till there ain't nothing left.
This is the Dawghouse Sports Podcast.
Hello, guys. This is Adrian and got Jacob here from the Dawghouse Sports Podcast. Got our very first guest today.
Man, oh man.
Yeah, this is pretty awesome. Colton Saucerman, how are you, man? Welcome to the Dawghouse. How are you?
Doing great. Thanks for having me on, fellas.
Oh.
I appreciate it.
Oh, thanks for doing this, man. How's everything? How's hockey been? How's hockey been like with COVID? Has it really affected? Like, I know you were playing in Europe, I think last year. I think you were in Austria, I think.
Yep.
How was like the COVID restrictions? Like with that, was there any restrictions, like fans in the stadium kind of thing, or like how did that go down?
Yeah, well, it kind of started off like the travel getting to Europe was difficult just because everybody was closing the border and everything like that. But I mean, once getting there, they were a little more, I guess, laxed at first because they had kind of been dealing with it before the U.S. really got hit. So they had really, buckled down like throughout that last summer, and they were really strict, and, mask mandate was everywhere and everything like that. So when we got there, restaurants and bars were open, like, sightseeing, you were able to do that. So at first, like, it was nice because got to experience a few things right away, start of the season, finish out the summer, and then up until like right before Halloween, like, it was good. And then once Halloween hit, when the new strain came out, the South African strain, and then the British strain or whatever came out, they really rolled it back again, and we were pretty much on lockdown. They threw in a curfew, and it's like, man, it's no joke. Like, I don't know how certain other countries are, but like, it was no joke. Like,
Yeah, there was some.
So you just don't do it because it's like a $20,000 fine if you're out past curfew. So it's like everybody wears a mask. Nobody was out. Like, we had to have specific pieces of paper, like getting back from games, even if you were out past 8 p.m. and a cop pulled me over, like coming back from the rink, I had to have this sheet of paper on me saying like I'm supposed to be out.
No shit.
So so it was it's intense in terms of like they just weren't, they don't screw around with it, So that's just the biggest difference between, I think, living in the States and then when you go over to another country and you see how they handle certain situations. It was very eye-opening. Not that, obviously the U.S. can handle it how they choose to handle it. Certain countries can, but it's just the difference was crazy coming from one extreme to the other.
Yeah, for sure.
But, and we had a little hiccup with the season. Some guys, I think it was like 13 of our teammates ended up getting it. So we kind of went on like a 2-week break. The whole league went on a 2-week break. Everybody kind of quarantined, and then we were able to finish the season. We had to play a few more games. Normally, the European schedule is 2, maybe 3 games a week. We had to step it up a little bit to make up for the time. So we were playing more the North American style, where you might play 3 or 4 games in a week. So that was, similar to, I guess, what I had been doing, but it was just like the amount of time that you have to like fit the season in. Because, I mean, the regular season ends in March, whereas in the States, you're like, you still have a month, like games and stuff. So that was a big adjustment.
Oh, I bet. Yeah. Like, what's the team? So you're in Slovakia now, as you were telling me. What's the name of the team that you'll be playing for next year? I wasn't able to pronounce it, so.
I'm not even gonna try.
I've still been working on it. So it's HC Kosice.
Kosice. Oh, that sounds exotic. I love it.
Oh,
that's awesome.
My
man.
fiance is correcting me. What is it? Kosice. Yeah.
Kosice. Okay,
Kosice.
that's cool.
Yeah, Kosice.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
So I met the president.
Shout out to Fiance for trying to pronounce it.
I know. So she as soon as I said it, she like perked up from her phone and she's like.
That's awesome.
She's always looking out for me. I love it.
Oh, that's awesome. She's a keeper for sure, man.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Exactly.
Yeah, man. So I was gonna get in the mix here about a couple of topics, and honestly, I remember this. I think it was 2018 when you were playing with the Utica Comets, and I remember I saw on Chiclets your first interview with them, and you had the big Viking beard, and I was like, oh, this guy's my favorite hockey player right away. And I think I DM'd you just
When
out
I
of
first saw
jokes.
the picture that Adrian sent me, I was like, oh
That's
my
awesome.
god, he's perfect for Vikings.
Yeah. How come you don't have it anymore? You just decided to change it
Yeah,
up?
just wearing the masks all the time, you know, like the last year and a half is kind of just, you know, it's fortunately
kinda
it doesn't, well, man, with these like 8-9 hour plane rides that I have, like I can't be wearing that. You know what I mean? Like it's just so uncomfortable.
Oh,
So fortunately it grows back pretty quickly. So hopefully again in the next hopefully year here we've got this thing a little more under control and everything like that, and we can stop with the mask mandate. But you know, it's I go through spurt, like you said, that's a perfect example. I go through spurts where I really really love having it, and then other times I'm like, I just, you know, want to be
It's a
able to
lot of
see my
work.
chin, you know, like yeah. So but it's like I said, it's super easy to go back. So
Yeah.
fear not to all the beard lovers, it could come back within 6 months.
Yeah.
So
Oh, good,
and
man.
hey,
Oh, man.
if you grow the Viking beard again, maybe the director of Viking can call you.
Yeah,
I would love that, man.
that would be
That's-
awesome.
Just give me in a cameo. So we started watching the Last Kingdom, like the
Yeah.
show kind of based on like the English and the Vikings and everything like that. And like my mom was actually saying, she's like, you should get a cameo in this show, you know. And
Ah,
so
man.
maybe that's my career, boys. As soon as I'm done playing, I'll just start acting.
There you go.
Oh,
You got, oh man, if the director
Oh.
of Vikings, we can reach out to him and help out our friend here. So
Let's do it. Let's get the
Let's do it
hashtag
up.
started. Sauce for
yeah,
Vikings.
let's do it. And we'll be your agents. We'll represent you. You know.
Let's do it.
Oh man, you know what was great about that though? Like, cause again, I saw that picture, I was like, oh dude, that's amazing. I remember I DM'd you like as soon as I saw it, just just a regular guy, just just DMing an athlete, just maybe hoping for a reply, and you were like, oh thanks man, and I was like, oh that's so cool. Like, I was like, I honestly, man, I don't have the patience to grow that. Like, I have a little bit of length here, but this is the most it will grow. Because after that, it just gets too much work, and again with these masks, it gets like messes it up, and it's
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, it was pretty. It was
Well,
pretty
and
awesome.
I think half of it too was like I think I just started. I mean, it was after my even earlier before that. It was after my first year of playing professional. Like I started getting companies to send me product.
Oh yeah.
So like that was like the huge influence. Also, kind of not like I wasn't trying to like totally milk it, but at the same time, like having it, it's just like taking care of your hair, right? Like you need the special
Yeah.
products that go into it and
Absolutely.
everything like that. And it's like, wow, like I'm not having to buy any of these products. I love having it, but also like it's cool because people just keep sending me stuff. They wanted like feedback and like stuff like that. So I would like write them, email them back, like, yeah, I
Nice.
love this one, didn't like this one. And so it kind of just became like very easy to maintain because I wasn't spending any of my own money to like,
That's awesome.
you know, I started being able to trim it up myself a little bit. And then when I needed like to, you know, really go to the barber, I'd find one or two guys that in 4 years of having it, I found like two people that I really was like, okay, you can dial this thing in. And now my fiance does it. So I
Oh,
don't
nice.
even go like
Hey.
when I had it back, I wouldn't even go. She would do it. So
Does
like
she-
now she's my barber.
Nice. Did she
Oh.
love it? Did she love the beard when you had it, or was she kind of like iffy about
I
it?
think
would,
that's
like,
what
cut
I
it
think
off.
that's what landed her because she's way too hot for me.
Oh god. Oh
Oh.
shucks.
Oh.
Oh man, that's funny. Oh
Yeah.
well, hey, man, that's
But
so
she
crazy.
says she likes it. Just, you know, she likes that. She thinks that I can. You know, maybe she's a little biased, but she's like, yeah, I think you can pull off both. You know, like it's some guys like when they do shave their beard, they're like, you're like, oh wow, like, you know, you probably should grow that back. You know, or vice versa. Guys that are nice, clean shaven or just a little bit of scruff, they start growing a beard. You're like, no,
Yeah.
you know, don't do it. And but it's nice to be able to have
Yeah.
both.
I think you can rock both, man. You got a bit of
Thanks.
a shadow going. It looks all right.
Yeah,
man.
yeah. I
No
just
problem.
keep. I never go like baby face, but I just keep a
Yeah,
little.
a little stubble's good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
little
there's
stuff is
one
good.
there's like a few people that we know that can rock it, aka ZZ Top, and the
Yeah.
boys.
Oh yeah.
Right,
Oh
yeah.
god, that's like, man, that's like a whole other level. Even like there's a lot of athletes though that have kind of like started that trend. Like I'd say the last maybe 6-5 years with like the Viking beards, and I just love it. There's like
Yeah.
a couple of guys in Major League Baseball. There's like Dallas Keuchel, the pitcher, that had one, and
Yep.
a couple of other guys too. I'm like, yeah, I was like, I want to grow that, but it's just I don't.
Oh,
6 months is too much for me, you know. Like I want it right now. So
Yeah.
yeah. Did you? So I was gonna ask you one question about the. You said you had got all the beard products. Was it when you were on Utica when that happened, or was it beforehand, or like
A
kind of?
few- Yeah, so it picked up more once I got to Utica, and then kind of got, like you said, the
Spit
you know
Chiclets.
the 24 hours of fame, whatever you want to call it, kind of thing. But
Get awesome.
before then, it was like a few small time, like kind of startup companies too, like people trying to get their brand out, and even the beard company that I'm still with right now. It's based out of Vancouver, Big City Beards, and it's an all organic. And he just started the company. I guess when it was it. So that was 2019 that I was there. So yeah,
Yeah.
he had just started it. 2018 to 2019 was like his first calendar year of like starting this company. And so when I decided to sign with him, he's a huge Canucks fan and everything like that. Obviously being out of
with Utica.
Vancouver, and yeah, so like he was
okay.
it kind of just fell in place perfectly because he was like following it and everything, and then sent me some product, and I was like, man, it was just bar none better than any product I had ever tried.
Really,
for
eh?
me personally, like, and it was the fact that it was all organic, and everything like that. I'm all about that. And so it was kind of a no brainer for me. And he was just such a great guy, like easy to talk to. So he wasn't like pressuring me to try to like sign with him. And like, that was what
Yeah.
I was really drawn to. And so he obviously understands. I had to call him, so he knew that I was going to shave it and everything, but eventually we'll get it back, and he knows. So
That's awesome though. Yeah, man. How was that? Like I mean, like obviously when you the whole thing with Chiclets when you went pretty viral there, like did you have a lot of people like on the internet just reaching out to you and like kind of stuff, or like how was that? I know Utica was selling merch with like your name on it or something. With,
Yeah,
like the
I
beard.
bet it is.
I remember seeing that too. I
Yeah.
was like, that's amazing.
no,
how
it
was that?
it was funny because like it was like kind of, I mean, it was my fourth. It was my third year professional. So I was like, I had kind of been around a little bit, like in the American League before, so it wasn't like my first like stint. Oh my gosh, we've never seen this guy. So it was kind of like funny in terms of that, just because like everybody's like, oh, I kept getting a lot of things like, oh, this is your like first year. And I'm like, no,
No,
like,
I've been
like,
around,
I've kind of been
guys.
around for a little bit, but, and that's,
Yeah.
like I said, when you're bouncing around the American League and the minor league kind of system, like you're not really like popular other than in your own town. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like,
Okay.
unless you're a
Yeah.
high draft pick and like people really know
Unless
who
you're
you
kind
are.
of David Austin Matthews, basically.
Kind
Or-
of like, it's like anybody
Yeah.
in this year's draft that goes to their American League team, they might be a little more popular just because they were drafted. You know what I mean? Like their name is already now like in the media. And so I was just an unsigned free agent coming out of college. So it's like my popularity wasn't very, big. So it was just kind of funny and interesting to see like how I had played for other American League teams before, but nobody really like set it, like other teams had opportunities to like set this up way before, you know what I mean? And like it just didn't happen for whatever reason. And so when I got to Utica, their marketing team was genius.
Yeah,
they're like, we're just
I'd
gonna
say.
roll with this. You know what I mean? So it was,
Beautiful.
I didn't do so much as like, I give all the credit because they were like, let's run with this. Like the owner, Rob Esch was like, after day one, he's like, yeah, I think I'm gonna make a shirt with your face on it. Like,
You're like, fucking right.
and
Let's do it.
dude, they sold out in a day. They sold out in a
Oh
day.
yeah. Wow.
Like, and then
Oh,
it was
man.
like Sauce Hockey reached out. I had 2-3 t-shirts come out from them. Like, it was just like crazy things that like happened within 24 hours of being basically a call up. I was on
Yeah.
a PTO, so it wasn't like I signed a multi-year contract with them. It was like, I'm just a call up, so I just embraced it, and it was just a lot of fun, and I think it was people reaching out was like the coolest part, and I've always been the person that I respond because I'm not bigger than the game or anything else. Like, I'm just the average guy who had a dream like every other hockey player, and we're all trying to go to the same place. So I support and I embrace the fan input, and I love seeing the comments and the messages and everything like that. Like, it was crazy. I gained like 6,000 followers in 24 hours. Like, it was,
Whoa.
yeah, it was
Wow.
wild.
Amazing.
So
That's amazing.
my phone actually, it was funny. Like, my phone actually died because it was so cold in Utica at the time.
Oh,
It was
no.
so cold that I was on my phone looking, and I kept getting notifications so fast. It was a
Jesus.
6 minute walk from the rink to where I was staying in the hotel, and my phone was at like 50%, and it died in a 6 minute walk
Oh no.
That is
'Cause-
insane.
because it was just going off like
Yeah.
continuously. Like,
That's
at one point I
crazy.
had to like shut it off, and then I would look at the end of the night to see, like, read everything and like that.
Yeah.
It was insane.
Oh man, that's unreal, man. Oh,
Dude,
that was
that is.
that was awesome though. Like, again, like I remember seeing that. Like, I was at my old job at the time, and I was working a night shift, and like I was just scrolling through Instagram, and just on my break, and then I saw that, and I was like, that's amazing. I was like, and I showed one of my coworkers. I was like, this is my favorite hockey player, and she's like, wow, that's a nice beard. I was like, it's my favorite. That guy's the GOAT. So
Well,
yeah,
the
man,
funniest part about the whole thing was like the guy in charge of the player personnel guy in Utica was giving the media a hard time because all the media was asking me was about my beard, not about like the game or like anything like that. And he, like, I'll never forget this. Like, he walked by and I'm getting interviewed, and he just yells at all of them. Like, and they kind of edit it out, obviously, but he yells at
Yeah.
all of them. He's like, ask him a freaking hockey question, like, because they
Oh,
were
yeah?
just like peppering me with like, beard, and which was great. But it was like, I don't think I answered very many hockey questions in that interview.
Wow.
So
No kidding, eh?
it was so funny. I'll remember that forever.
That's
You know
yeah.
what?
Well,
Speaking of professional tryout, like I know you spent a lot of time in the minors, but has like any NHL team like called you for a professional tryout before heading to Europe, basically?
No, just because I think with the way the game is going right now, and I absolutely have no problem with it. I just want to preface that. But I think the way the game is going, it's just going so young. And we're getting these guys that are coming out of major, junior, and college, and they're young. And I was an older freshman in college, so I went to school late because I was kind of just a little later developing, and so I wasn't in my prime in like 19 to 22. I feel like I'm in my prime almost like from when I started playing pro to now. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like I'm in my spot right now, and some guys just hit that sooner, and some guys are ready for that, and I just wasn't. And so you kind of get your shot when you finally decide to turn pro. You get your shot, and it's about 2 years. You have 2 years to kind of like make your mark, and if you're going to jump up, and so much of it is timing and like, what team needs what, and do they have they drafted that type of player before? Like, I was a 5'10", 5'9", I almost said 5'10", I wish I was 5'10", 5'9", skill defenseman, so like a lot of teams already had guys like that, so it was, and unless you're a high draft, like, I'm not going to get a chance over guys that they draft. That's just the way it works, because general managers and owners don't want to look like idiots when they draft guys and then they don't pan out, so those guys will always get a chance which is great. If I was a drafted player, I would want that chance too. You know what I mean? So it's hard for free agents to come in and like make an impact right away. And my first year and a half of pro, I was good, and I had a good season statistically, but I think it was just, I didn't hit my window, and I have no regrets about it. Like, hey man, less than 1% of all hockey players in your age group make the NHL. So it's a crazy stat. It's a hard thing to do. And I'm just enjoying the ride. You know, I just love playing still. And hey, I just tell everybody it's better than working a day job. You know, like
Yeah.
it's something that we love. We all love doing. And, you know, we all can't wait till the day where we can just play for fun and not take it seriously. You know, we're all headed to beer league. You know what I mean? That's what everybody everybody is looking forward to, that time when they can just love the sport and they don't have to take it seriously and all the stress and everything that comes with it. Like, we're all headed there eventually. So I'm just trying to prolong that a little bit longer. So
I love it. I love it, man. I remember you posted something on Instagram like a couple of years ago. I saw it. You said the exact same thing. Like on the caption, it said, refuse to quit and go to a day job or something. And I was like, I respect that, you know, like keep the dream alive, man. I love that. I love it. It's good, man. I've seen some of your highlight clips too. So you're a skilled defenseman. I could see you scored a couple of beauties I've seen on YouTube, and some in the AHL, some in I think it was the ECHL too. So that's pretty cool, man. We wanted to go into wanted to ask you more about, like, you know, kind of your journey to where you got. So obviously you being from Colorado, we were talking about that earlier. I know for us in Toronto, you know, we're Toronto kids, and, you know, we grew up with, like, you know, kind of the hockey culture in Canada. But like, Colorado is a pretty big hockey city, I would assume. How was it growing up, you know, playing hockey in Colorado, you know, in a big major American city? How was that? And, you know, being an Avalanche fan growing up, like, how was the vibe of that? Was it like, was it like a devout community? Like, if you can, how could you describe that?
So yeah, I mean, I was from the Springs, so I was about an hour south of Denver. But I mean, you know, we all grew up Avs fans. My dad got me started early. I think he had bought a pair of skates before I was born. You know, so whether I was going to be a boy or a girl, I was going to be playing. You know, so
nice.
And he played just locally, high school, but he just, you know, he loved the sport. Like, I think the coolest thing about our game is like the tradition, you know, and like what the brotherhood and like what it means to be a hockey player, like that, just kind of that code that you like live by also in your life too. But I think Colorado has grown a lot from where I started when I played, you know, because I think we had one AAA program at the time when I was growing up, eventually moved into two, but now I think they have like, I was talking to my buddy the other day, I think they have four. Oh, so wow. Now they have 4 AAA programs for like the youth and everything like that. So it's going in the right direction. I don't know if I would call it a hockey hotspot in the U.S. yet, but I think it's getting there. More and more guys are coming out of there and like being successful. I know at like my age group, the guys that I played with growing up, like the Shore brothers, you know, Nick and Drew Shore, got some exposure in the NHL, really, really good players. But, you know, they were from Denver, but always grew up playing against them and stuff. So I think it's, you know, Brendan Carlo now with the Boston Bruins. Like he's a Colorado kid. You know, Cal Foote, guys like Adam Foote's son, you know, so guys are that next level of Colorado boys are stepping in and doing great things. So I think it's growing in the right direction. You know, and everybody's journey is so different. I think mine was, if there's anything, I guess, in my career that I wish I could go back and do again, it would be to play one more year of like AAA hockey before going to junior. Just because I think at that age, like, I think I was ready to be on my own, but I think it was like, and, you know, live with the bill of family and everything that comes with leaving your parents for the first time. But I think hockey wise, I should have maybe done one more year. I don't know if I was ready to jump, because I jumped from 16 AAA to USHL. So I was 17 in the USHL that year. And I don't know if I was like, I was close, you know, like it was a close, like I made the team. I was playing for the Des Moines Buccaneers, and I made the team out of open camp, got invited back to main camp, and then made the team through that. So it was like, I was right on the cusp, you know, I was like 7-8 D man. And then when they made a final, we had a guy, get hurt in training camp, so I was 7, and then another D-man went down, and then I was in the lineup every night, kind of thing.
Beauty.
So it worked out well that I could play, but it's hard because I always thought my best asset was like, hey, just throw me into the fire and I'll figure it out. You know what I mean? And sometimes guys really thrive on that, and that's how I've kind of made it in my career. Was you just get thrown into the situation and I adapt, which is a great quality to have, but also too, like, playing when you're ready is a really important thing. The old mantra is never play at a level, where you can't get a regular shift. So you should always play at that level where you can be successful and get better, but not be like overwhelmed where you're hurting your development because you're not playing in those situations, So I was right there, like on that line. And looking back, if I could do it again, I would wait one more year, be 18, going to juniors. And then too, it's like I played 3 years of juniors. So it's like you even cut down that year where, like, okay, now I play maybe 1, maybe 2 if I really need it. But I was already committed to a college before I went to, at the time I was committed to UMass Lowell. And so I was already committed. So I probably should have just waited. But, it's hindsight. But those are things that you think about sometimes. And when young players ask me working camps and stuff during the summer, they're like, what should I do? What should I do? And it's hard to give advice because everybody's journey is so different.
Yes.
I just say you have to make the best decision for you where you are at the time. If you feel like you can contribute and you're going to get a regular shift, maybe not play first power play or first penalty kill, but you're going to get a regular shift and you can make an impact, maybe you go.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, exactly. And can I say, for people who doesn't live in Colorado, now that's a hard place to play because of the altitude.
Yeah, the Mile High State. Yeah,
that's very difficult.
I wanted to just dip into like what you said about how everyone's journey is different. I saw this tweet. I think it was last night by Igor Larionov, the junior, like Igor Larionov's son. He plays in the KHL, and he made a really good point. Kind of, it just made me think of what you said. He said, like, if you he tweeted out and said, if you didn't get drafted, it's not the end of the world. There are so many avenues to make it pro. There are so many draft picks that never even sign, which is true. Just put your head down and grind. Being drafted doesn't define you. It's just a title. It's up to you to make something out of yourself. So I that's true. There, and you know what though, like Colton, there's been I'm a Montreal Canadiens fan, right? And I've seen quite a few players, go undrafted, like and made the team, and they've done some good things, right? And just sometimes, if, again, undrafted, it shouldn't change your approach to things. And I think if anything, I guess it would motivate you more in a sense, right? Because you feel like you have like maybe more to prove than I guess like a player that has been drafted or whatever, right? So it's good though. I like your attitude too. I've heard some stories of people that like they don't make the show, or like after their career, like they don't make the show and they're like really salty, like that they didn't get past like OHL and that's it, right? So no, I like your positive attitude though, and that's good for if there's any young hockey players in the making. Hope you're listening. That's a very good message though, for sure. Just keep the grind going and just adjust on the fly if you can, and because you just never know something. And again, hockey is just sports in general. It's just such a sports in general are just a thing where you just, again, I can see like being a professional, you got to adjust on the fly, right? Because just one day you can be in the lineup, getting maybe 10 15 minutes a night, and then the next night you can be on waivers and you just don't even know what happened, right? Just I've seen that happen to some NHLers, and it's just like, whoa, they don't know how to adjust after. So other players, other athletes too, right? So you just never know, right? And just that's pretty awesome though. I like your attitude and how you feel about that. And so I gotta say, how's Slovakia? I was gonna talk like you've been there for a few days now. Have you really gotten any like time to really see where you're at, or you're kind of just moving in, still settling in?
Yeah, so we've been driving around a little bit, just with the first full day we were here. Kind of flew in, got in around 1:30, 2 o'clock in the afternoon on the first day. And that day's obviously shot because haven't really slept, anything like that.
Yeah,
So, but then the next day, the general manager of the team picked me up and kind of drove me around town a little bit. And I mean, it's these European cities, man. I was telling them, I'm like, they're so clean, that's the one thing I've noticed. And maybe it's because, my fiance is just from outside New York City. And when you go to New York City and you're like seeing New York City for the first time, like
It's rough.
it's gorgeous. It's gorgeous. There's a lot to do. Like it's, arguably one of the greatest cities in the world, but holy shit, is it dirty? You know
So
what I mean?
fucked
Like it's just in Boston, like I went to school in Boston. Boston's kind of like the same thing. Like it's just, but it's like these European cities take such pride in like keeping it clean,
Mhm.
and so it's just the architecture is just so old and there's so much history and stuff, and it's just beautiful, like that's really the word that comes to mind when you come to these countries. And being in Innsbruck last year, I mean, that city hosted the Olympics twice. Like it's just
Wow.
it's just gorgeous, and being here, I haven't gotten downtown to like walk around and stuff yet. Just got the car that I'll be using for the year the other day.
Nice.
And now, like I said, I was just running errands, making sure that the place is all set up. And, I do things a little differently now that I have a fiance. When you're a single guy and you're going to a country, the first thing you do is you find the bar.
Yeah.
But but now that I got a dog and a fiance, like we got to make sure we got sheets and like
Yeah.
we gotta get a shower curtain, like things like that. Like
For sure.
it's just
a little bit
was
more
getting that stuff
responsibility.
done. Yeah, for sure, right? And it's great. I wouldn't trade being single for this, no matter what. But it's just like those are different things. Like back when I was single, the first thing you get to new town, new team. Where's the bar? Where's that bar that I'm going to that like
Yeah.
I know is going to be a staple, or finding cool restaurants, go shopping, and
Oh, for sure.
but it's been good. Yeah, we'll definitely get out this week. We don't start. We'll start actually skating. We got captains practices and stuff starting this next week, later in the week. But we got tomorrow and early part of this week coming up to really experience and go walk around and everything like that. And they're a little bit better with the restrictions here. You still got to wear a mask when you go inside anywhere, but no mask outside.
That's okay.
And everything is open as of right now. So hopefully we can, see the city a little bit more and hopefully do some traveling, because I think that's the coolest part about coming to Europe is, the most expensive flight is paid for.
That's right.
Once you're over here, the travel is easy. Like,
It really is.
you can fly to Paris for $68 one way.
No way.
So that's the crazy thing is once you're over here, it's nice. Like the travel is not that expensive to get from, and that's, you drive 5 hours in Ontario, like you're not even out of Ontario.
I know,
Like,
right?
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Fucking
but you
brutal.
drive 5 hours here and you've gone through 2 countries. Like
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
everything's so close, so it's like, that's the cool part about it as well, is it doesn't take full days to like get places because it's so quick, but yeah, man, I'm looking forward to definitely experiencing the city, and it looks beautiful so far. I got a great apartment set up, and yeah, I'm excited.
That's awesome, buddy. I wanted to ask you quick about your pit bull. We were talking about that a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
What's her name again?
Her name's Hazel.
Hazel. Oh, beautiful. I mean, in Ontario here, they're actually banned. We're not allowed to have pit bulls here. Yeah. So
basically.
we had years ago.
I remember Mark
Go ahead,
Burley
Jacob.
used to like have a pit bull, and he
Mark Burley on the Jays. Yeah.
Once he got traded to Toronto Blue Jays, he basically had to leave his pit bull behind.
Yeah, it's honestly
such an unfair, like it really is. Like growing up, I never had dogs, but my fiance has fostered dogs, and we're all about adopting dogs and trying. There's so many dogs that need homes, dogs and cats for that matter, and man, just pit bulls have just such a bad rap, just an unwarranted reputation because of a few scattered incidences. And for sure, they are, in terms of their bite strength and everything like that, for sure they're up there and one of the hardest bites. But like, I doubt you will find a more loyal, loving dog than a pit bull. You know, and she's part pit bull, so she's got some greyhound in her too, and we think like some Vizsla, kind of the same build as like the greyhound, very slender. So like her face is pit bull all the way face, but then her body is super skinny and slender, and she's honestly one of the fastest dogs I've ever seen in person. Like at times when we're playing outside, I'll have to put her on a 30-foot leash because I wouldn't be able to catch her with a 6-foot leash.
Oh geez.
She's that fast, like that fast.
Wow.
Like,
Wow.
so it's, but man, adopting her was probably one of the coolest things I've ever done. We found her when I was playing in Idaho. Fiance at the time was just looking, and she's like, should we get one? Should we get one? We were looking at shelters in Idaho, and I didn't, I was looking at them and I'm like, they're cute, but I just didn't have like that connection, like,
yeah.
And we kind of switched, and we were looking at this shelter that does like Northwest trips, but it's based out of Texas. And she was just scrolling. It was late. I was like half asleep in bed. And then I rolled over and she scrolled up onto Hazel, and I was like, that's it.
That's the one.
That's the one.
Oh,
And
I love it.
like she was 5 months at the time when we first like contacted the agency, and their rules, you can't adopt dogs until 6 months. So we had to wait a month to get her, but she was found in a donut shop. So
oh my gosh.
Way.
Yeah. So she was just the most like loving, attentive dog right away, and now she's a service animal for my wife, or my fiance. So I keep doing that. I keep saying my wife, but we're getting married soon. Not married yet, but getting married soon. But
Attaboy.
she's just great, man. I love pit bull. I would adopt a pit bull again in a heartbeat, not even thinking about it.
Yeah, buddy. It's so sad though. Like again, like that whole reputation, because like out here in Ontario, we had like a really bad. I'd say from like, I was a kid when this. Jacob and I were kids when this happened. Like maybe like between 2004 to like maybe 2006.
I was young.
And we just saw on the news like maybe once a month like a really bad pit bull attack, and then again they just banned them. And I'm like, just because the people don't know how to, either they abuse them or they just don't know how to take care of a dog like that, because you gotta, they have a different like personality than the average dog, right? And I was just like, that's not the right thing to do. And I've seen so many videos on like TikTok and like Instagram, Twitter and stuff, like all over social with like the pit bulls, and they're like the sweetest things ever. You just like, it's just the way people like treat them in a sense, right? I don't think it's the dog's fault. You should ban the owners if anything.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and my fiance stands by that. Like, it is not the dog, it is the owner.
It's never the dog. No.
Like Hazel could be an aggressive dog if I failed her as an owner.
That's right.
You know what I mean? Like, there is boundaries that are set, and when you do the proper training, things like that, they're loyal, and like, man, she's so easy to train. You know what I mean? Like, they're just intuitive dogs. Like, they're stubborn, but they're intuitive, and like, man, it's I hate seeing that, and hearing that, but
it's never the dog.
One day, a lot of changes coming.
One day,
yeah,
we'll
for sure, man.
One day.
Hopefully they lift that bans, because honestly, like, I know, I don't know if it's bad to say, but I know some people that do have them. I kind of got them kind of under the counter. In the past, I've met people like that, but I mean, geez, man, they're good dogs, man. Like, I mean, the problem is I find too with like, it's like the like you said, failing them. That's that, and there's just people that want these big dogs, and they're just like, oh, I want this big dog because I want a big dog, but then they don't think about how big like, they're scared. They're even scared of it when they starts to grow, and animals, especially dogs, they thrive on fear. So after that, it owns the house, and that's it. You're cooked, right? So you gotta like, that's the way how it goes sometimes. But man, like, hopefully it changes though. I mean, it's been like about 15 years since they put that ban up, and I was like, wow, it's not it.
I can't believe it's been that long.
I know. Yeah, Canada. Have you played in Canada before? Or
no, not for the season. Yeah, never for a season. Obviously, just always did summer tournaments, travel tournaments growing up and stuff, and obviously getting across to, playing Laval and stuff like that. But
Oh yeah.
and in Toronto too, to play the Marlies, but
Yes.
never. I would have always loved it, man. Like those, it's just awesome how Canada embraces hockey, and it.
Yeah, especially when it comes to the Olympics and like
man.
NHL teams. Oh my god.
Yeah, they go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm telling you, it's like religion here, man. It's like how Americans love their they love their football.
Yeah.
And
like
how
that's like
Europeans like their football, like
yeah,
soccer.
their
Yeah.
European football, right? It's the same.
For
Yeah,
sure.
it's the exact same thing. I was gonna ask you too,
Yeah.
buddy. Like, no, sorry, Jacob, go ahead, bud. Sorry, I don't want to cut you
Yeah,
off.
so going back to playing Slovakia, do you know they're like allowing fans inside the buildings?
Yeah. So they, when I talked with the president and the owners the other day, the board, they were saying that last year was no fans, but then this year they've got acceptance for 50% capacity.
Okay.
So
Okay.
the building holds, I think, 8,500.
Ah.
So it'll be just over 4,000. And
Yeah.
they had, I think it was 2 years ago, they had the World Championships here.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, they're
So I think they split it between Bratislava and here. So they had the World Championships here, and I guess I've heard from obviously the owner, and then even certain fans that have reached out saying like, this spot is a great spot to play. The fans are crazy. The building is amazing. I did a tour the other day, and so it should be fun. I think it'll be a rockin' 4,000.
That's good.
So it should be a
European
blast.
hockey fans are like basically soccer fans. Like,
Yeah, I was gonna say.
They embrace it the same way, man. It's nonstop cheering. Like in the States and Canada, like there's moments. I think it's because maybe they're a little bit more. I'm not going to say European fans are uneducated hockey fans, but I think it's like their enthusiasm never drops.
Yeah.
Whereas like the enthusiasm in Canada or in the States it kind of ebbs and flows with how the home team is doing.
Yes.
That's very true. Whereas like there were points last year even where we were losing 3-4 goals and the fans are still like up here. The energy level just never drops, I
love it.
Which is cool because it makes you feel like you're never out of those games. Whereas like sometimes back home, it's like crowd gets quiet when it's 3-0 and you're like, fuck.
Yeah.
We might not come out of it tonight, type thing. And it takes like scoring one or like getting one to like, okay, now we're going to turn it a little bit. Like, but the energy level in Europe, man, it just doesn't seem to like drop ever.
Yeah.
It's wild.
I love it, man. That's so great though. Like, I've seen clips on Chiclets and like all over the internet and like European hockey and just, like Jacob said, it's like a soccer crowd. I think, Brandon Prust, he played in the NHL for a bit. He played, I think, with in the German league, I think in like 2017, and he said, it's just the vibe is crazy over there. The crowd's always roaring, like again, like a soccer game, right? I've listened to audio clips of it. It legit sounds like a soccer game in Europe. Like you're watching like middle tier, Barclays League game in England, right? It's the same kind of vibe, like the crowd. I love it, man. It's awesome. Europe's got a different vibe there, and I love it. Like I'm Italian by background, so I want to go see the country one day, but they have a hockey league down there too, so that would be cool. Kind of.
Yeah, well, the runner-up, probably I thought they were the best team in the Austrian league last year was in Bolzano.
Oh yeah,
and they're the Italian team, and they had, so many guys want to go play there because they're Italian descent, so they can go and get the passport right away and not be counted as an import.
Yeah,
like man, it was a blast. Like playing in Italy too. Like so, they do have a league of their own, as well, which I've heard. I have friends that have played in that league too, and heard it's awesome. So I think every guy, at some point in their career should come over and experience it. Like just the way the European guys come over to the States and they want to see, what the American League and try to make the NHL like, because obviously everybody wants to play in the NHL one day, but I think you just get set in your ways, staying at home, and guys don't want to leave, and for whatever reason, I'm like, man, you're missing out on tons of experience and exposure.
Yeah, sorry guy, I got cut out there. I don't know what the hell that was all about, but yeah,
No
sorry
worries,
about
man.
that. But yeah, man, that's so cool though. Like I would love to go to a game in Europe, like a hockey game in Europe, like
Oh,
in like the Zurich Lions in the Swiss League. I've heard that's a vibe over there too. Like I've heard that's
fun
man,
fact, Austin Matthews used to go there. Oh,
yeah, Matthews used to play there. I think Marner was there, I think, during the holdout.
I believe so. Can't say for sure, but I believe so.
Did we lose him again?
Oh, Adrian, Adrian, you good? Yo, hello. I think we're gonna have to take a timeout because of Adrian. So, guys, hold on to your hats because it's gonna be a tough one. So yeah, cause I know hockey fans
Jeez.
are like in
Sorry,
Europe
guys.
they're like super enthusiastic and like how they chant and like how they like cheer for their team. So I bet it's like gonna be rocking over there.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
bet. And I think people are just so sorry, I'm back again. Second time cut out, but I think I think people I did just think worldwide, I find like people are just so anxious to go back and watch live sports again. So I think again, you're gonna see the crowds. Like, doesn't matter what sport it is. Like it's gonna be great, man. It's like I got man. We got the Blue Jays here in Toronto. They're gonna be accepting fans again, so that's gonna be kind of cool.
Nice.
I'm going to
Nice.
the game on the 2nd, which is cool. I was pretty stoked about
And by
that.
the
So.
way, Adrian, happy belated birthday.
Oh
So-
yeah, thank you. It was
Oh,
my
yeah,
birthday
brother.
yesterday. Yeah, 25.
Cheers, brother.
so-
Cheers.
Oh, thanks, buddy. I don't have a beer, but I got water. So.
That's all right.
Yeah, man. Oh man, it was. Yeah,
That's
it was
the
a
other.
good
That's
day.
the other thing in Europe. The boys don't realize, like, 6-pack of beer is 99 cents. So
No.
Oh,
Oh my god, dude, it's such a ripoff over here. A 6-pack is like $20.
a 6-pack of beer is cheaper than a 6-pack of water.
Oh
That's-
my. Adrian, now
Love it.
that's the reason
That's
why
the
you
other
go to
thing.
Europe.
I'm moving
I'm
to Europe.
basically on an 8-month bender.
Nice. Oh man.
Uh,
I was gonna ask because I don't know what the standards are like for North American hockey in terms of conditioning compared to Europe. Like, do you like are you not allowed to have beer like during the season or anything or like no?
Man, we have beers in the locker room after we win.
I
Like
love it.
a regular season game. Like
Yeah,
there's-
eh?
we won our first game of the season last year, and I'm like thinking like, cool, rest up. We got another game, and we got a day off, and then we got another game. The rink manager comes into the locker room carrying like 48 tall boys, and we all like start cracking them and like drinking.
No
Re-
fucking
game one.
way.
Game
Oh my
one.
God.
You would have thought we just like won something. You know what I mean? Like
I love
It's
it.
it's
basically
crazy,
like
man. Like,
compared to winning a Stanley Cup or World Series. That's
I mean, I was like, what, is it like? I thought it was like somebody's birthday maybe or something. and, like,
Yeah.
they're like, no, we won. I'm like,
Just drink when we win.
what?
Oh,
Like,
man, I
and,
love
hey,
it.
But honestly, it's like you
I love
do,
it.
you do like you go win a game on Friday night. Like, hell yeah, if we don't have a game Saturday night, we're going out.
Yeah.
Like
yeah, just go
for
to
sure.
it.
But it's just like
Yeah.
all right, we're gonna start this celebration in the locker room. You know,
Oh
like
man. That's the pregame, right?
yeah, right.
Yeah, that's the
So
pregame.
that's fun, man. It's and the bus trips were so much fun too, and because it's like you don't play as many games, so when you like go on the road, then you come back, you're not playing again for another week.
Yeah. Oh. for
So it was
sure.
like when we'd go play, man, the next game was even better because we played on the road, and we had like a 4.5 hour drive back. Dude, I was crippled, like getting off the bus. You know what I mean? Like because you don't play again for a week, so then you have like Sunday, Monday off, and then you practice Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday for the Friday game.
Oh, so 3 days in a row, you guys are on the
Yeah.
ice? Oh fuck.
Oh,
So that's the other
fantastic.
thing too. Like the practices here are no joke. Like they are because you don't. It's similar to. It brought me back to like what it was like to be in college, because the games were so important that like you needed practice. You know what I mean? Like you go 0-2 on a weekend and like, okay, shit, we need a good Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Like, so it's definitely different. And you were asking about like the conditioning and everything. I think the difference is like the training camp in the States is so much shorter. So you have to show up in shape.
Yeah.
And not saying that you can't show up here out of shape, but I think it's different because you have a month-long training camp and preseason that, you know, and I think they do that partly for two reasons, because a lot of guys jump from North America to Europe, but if they played for, you know, say somebody from the Lightning wanted to jump over, say Stamkos is ready, he wants to go to the KHL. Well, he just played in the Stanley Cup playoffs. Like, they give you a month, so it's like he can take his time while he's at home and like rest. You know what I mean? Like, so it's kind of based on that, where they give guys that are coming over some time to like, okay, you just got done playing. We're gonna, not that you're not doing anything with the team for a month, but it's like now your summer training that you're doing at home, you can kind of like ease back into it, because then you have a month of like, basically you're skating every day, workouts every day. It's hard. I mean, European training camp is no joke. Like it's hard. So, and the workouts are intense, and they are, because the ice obviously is so different in Europe too. The ice availability during the summer, like you don't even think twice. If you want to go skate in Toronto, there's a rink.
You can go anytime.
But in Europe, it's not that way. Like they take the ice out for a good portion of the summer.
Oh, wow.
They run some summer camps here and there, but ice is like such a hot commodity that and there's like 2-3 rinks max. There's 2-3 rinks probably a block from your house. You know what I mean? Like where I grew up, we had 3-4 rinks, and that's even in Colorado. We had 3-4 rinks in 10 miles. Like,
oh, wow.
So it was fine. But here it's like guys have to travel so much farther to get ice, so they don't skate nearly as much during the summer as they work out. So like the European guys are always like super good shape in the gym, and like when you do the training camp comes around, like that these guys are dialed in, you know what I mean? And then it's always like, and not that they're not on the ice once we start camp, but it's like you can always, at least seeing last year, and even in the States once in a while, playing with a few of the Russian and Swedish guys, like you can tell like the first week of camp, they're like getting their footing. You know what I mean? Because they haven't been like skating nearly as much as like we tend to skate more during the summer, and our workouts are like kind of tailor off towards the end of the summer, whereas they're like kind of ramping up more. So it's definitely different, but I feel like I'm at that point in my career too, where it's nice because the summer workouts are still challenging, but I've just now getting older from where I was when I first started. It's the workouts have changed. And so I put more emphasis on the summer training, just because, you know, when you get older, body starts to break down a little bit more. You got to put in more work to feel better. You know, when you were 21, 22, you could go on a month-long drinking binge and then show up and be okay. You know, like we can't do that anymore. You know? Now that you're 25, kid, you can't do that anymore. I'm telling you.
For sure. Oh man. Oh man. Yeah. So I guess you're a big beer guy. So you went to UMass, right?
No, I went to Northeastern.
Northeast. Oh.
So I was originally committed to UMass Lowell, and then coaching change happened, and just decommitted and went to Northeastern. So you played like top tier, like, and tier 1 like NCAA hockey, I would assume. Yeah, that's hockey East. So played against BC, BU, Notre Dame.
How was college hockey, man? Like I know in Boston, college hockey is like fucking huge, man. Like how are like the parties, the college parties? And I've heard some good stories from like the Chiclets crew, like being in Boston. Like I think Whitney was at like one of the schools there.
Yeah, you went to BU.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was talking about some of the dorm parties, man. How was that?
It was good. I mean, I think it's a little different in Boston. I think in like most guys would agree, like it's BC and BU were a little different because they were a little farther out of like right downtown.
Right.
So they had more of like the campus feel. I mean, our campus was like, I mean, I was a 5-minute train ride to TD Garden. So I was like right in downtown. So we didn't have as many like, I mean, we still had the house parties, and like the dorm parties, but it was more like going to the bars, like
True,
just because
true.
you were right in the city. And most of the guys, we came in, my freshman class, like that came in, we were all kind of older. So, I mean, I was going to the bar after my freshman year, so it was like, that was different just because we just didn't have like the hockey house and anything like that because we were right in the city. And so, but I mean, the bar scene in Boston is awesome,
Oh yeah, I've heard.
yeah, it's a good time, but I definitely it was like a give and take. Like I wish that I could have had a little bit more of the house party, going to some frat parties. I only went to a couple. I went to one over at Harvard and then went to one at MIT, and I was definitely the lowest IQ in the room. So,
Oh no.
but it was fun. They were fun to be at for sure. But it was a different scene, like, and you just didn't get that on our side of the river.
For sure.
In Boston, we were more the bar school, but still had a blast.
Hey, you know what? You said like maybe you were like you're saying about the low IQ thing, but that's what, if they ever say anything to you, just say, "Oh yeah, can you just take a one-timer with a slap shot, like hit a slap shot with over like 70, 80 miles per hour?" I bet
Right.
not.
Well, the one frat we went to at Harvard, it was I was sitting there talking to this kid, and I'll never forget this, man. And there's a frat at Harvard that you have to be like a millionaire to be in it.
Oh,
like your family has to be like millionaires. Yeah. And if you
Yes.
don't have a job within 1 full year of graduating, the frat pulls together money for you.
Oh shit.
Oh wow.
Like it's like
that's
that
weird,
level
but-
of frat party. And we went with a couple girls that knew somebody on the girls rowing team over at Harvard or something, and I was definitely out of place, coming from just being a blue collar guy. But it was, it was a good time being in Boston for sure.
Oh, I bet. Yeah, no, that's one of the bigger hockey cities in the US. Usually you think of you think of Detroit, you think of Boston, Chicago,
Yeah.
even Colorado too. You said Colorado's starting to grow.
Minnesota, big time.
Oh,
Yep, Minnesota's one of the big
Minnesota.
ones. You think Philly, Pittsburgh, a lot of those like a lot of those kind of
Philly's
cities.
a crazy hockey town, I'm telling
Oh
you.
God, Philly's just a crazy sports town in general. I've heard some horror stories coming out of there. I don't think I'd ever go there.
Oh god.
Oh man, I was can I ask you? I got two more questions. Jacob, do you have anything else for Colton?
I
Or?
think I'm good.
Okay, I got like two more things. I was gonna ask, buddy. Like, I know we were talking about like the European hockey in terms of the fitness, like and the conditioning. In terms of like the game style of how what would you say are like kind of like the big differences between North American and European hockey? Like in terms of like the game style, I know European hockey is a lot of skill, speed, and obviously bigger rinks, right? North Americans more a little bit more gritty, smaller rinks and stuff like that, smaller rinks. But what like just obviously you playing in both, like what can you kind of like compare and contrast the differences, and like what would you prefer more? Like what kind of style do you like more?
So I mean, you hit it pretty much right on the head, brother. I mean, it's the North American game is the NHL is known for being fast and physical. Like it's as much as it's a skill game now.
Sorry, but
you good?
Yeah.
Oh, hey.
Sorry about that. I got logged out again. Am I good?
Yeah, I hear you, brother.
Yeah.
Okay,
so,
buddy.
Yeah, I mean, the North American game, like I said, the new NHL it's about speed and skill, but it still has never lost that physicality. And it's, it is the toughest league in the world to play in, right?
Yeah.
I think the biggest difference coming over, I think you see when you make a mistake, I think in the States, you might be able to to catch a guy based on the dimensions of the rink. You might be able to, somebody else might be able to help you. And you know, like I said, come to your aid, I guess, in situations. And plays happen a lot faster in the States. But I think the physicality is what sets it apart, because every time you touch the puck, you're getting hit. You know, and I think over in Europe, the game is still, the speed is not lost. The skill is not lost. It is still there in abundance. And if anything, the skill level, you feel like the skill level's even higher just because they have so much space. You know, you have so much space, like, so you even feel like the game is more skilled. I would say that the States game is probably more skilled just because the guys are doing the same thing, but they're doing it on 15 less feet wide, you know? But the patience that the European players have, and like, I think that's what I love the most about the European game is the patience. It's methodical. It's, you know, we don't, because dump and chase is like not a thing really, you know, because you just have so much more width to the ice. Like you can make plays through the neutral zone. Like it's very more wide open in terms of what you can do. Whereas in the States, it's like you get to the red line, is not much room to like get through the neutral zone. You have to, like, teams in the NHL rely on the forecheck to create offense, right? Like unless you're on the power play, it's hard to get through the neutral zone with puck possession. It really is, because teams defend the line so well, the blue line so well. So, but over in Europe, it's not that way. Like when you're playing D, like we're taking rushes. Like it's 3-on-3 rushes, it's 4-on-3 rushes, it's 3-on-2s. And I think that was the biggest, you know, I had playing in Hockey East, a couple of the schools, UMass and UNH, they have the Olympic size sheet. And so playing on that, you just had to play your position differently. Like you can't run out of position to go hit a guy because you're 15 feet on the outside. And if he makes one pass behind you, there's no chance that you can get there.
Yeah.
So, but it's like, if I go hit a guy in the States in the corner, I might be able to get back, maybe get a stick on it, maybe get a piece of it, something, you know, like, and even working with your partner is just so much different in the States versus Europe. Like you have to be able to make those breakout passes, and like, you know, there's very little high off the glass, you know, so you have to be able to make those plays and be able to break out clean. And I you know, but it's hard because I love the physical side of it as well. So I think it's a good mixture of both. I try to bring a good mixture of both. So I think I miss the hitting, and I still try to do it once in a while, but you know, it's hard to get away with it in Europe.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, sorry about that, guys. I'm having some problems on my end here. Sorry about that.
Don't worry about it, bro. Don't worry about it.
Technology. I was gonna ask you one more question, buddy, before we cap this up. But so I saw on your Instagram too when you were in New York. You and the fiance were in New York. You went to the friend's apartment. I was like so jealous when I saw that. That's so cool. Like, how did you like? Could you like? It's like an actual tourist thing, right? You pay and kind of go see it, or what was that like?
Yes. So it's yeah, it was my engagement present, and it's just a pop-up museum. So it's not like consistently gonna be there. It's kind of almost like the way I understood it was it's like kind of a traveling exhibit almost. And so they create this basically museum, and it may be there for a year, 2 years, I'm not sure, but it's everything is authentic from the set of Friends, and you just pay for the experience, and it's what it is you're just walking through, and you can look at the props, look at the clothing, the scripts are there, like, so it was just, you know, I'm a huge Friends fan, obviously, like fiance and I, we bonded early in our relationship over the love of Friends.
Nice.
And so it was an awesome experience, man. It was so cool just to be in that setting and seeing all that stuff. And so, yeah, I was super excited and thankful that she got me that as the gift. So
That's awesome, man. I love it. I love it.
And before we cut this off,
Yeah, bud.
like-
Go ahead.
for Colton, where can our viewers like find you like on social media and stuff?
Oh,
Good
where
question.
can people find me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so mostly use Instagram, still have Twitter and Facebook, but not on those nearly as much. But my Instagram handle is hotsauce2323.
I love it.
I love
So
that.
yeah, if anybody wants to follow me and stuff like that, more than welcome to.
Give our buddy a follow.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, man. Oh, this was great, man.
Oh,
Again, to all our viewers, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel, and give Colton a follow too. Go follow him out in Slovakia too for the season. We're gonna try and watch a couple of games, see if we can
we're-
get the streams
we're-
out there.
we're
I'll
gonna
try to see
try.
what I can do. Yeah,
Definitely.
So thanks for doing this, buddy. I appreciate it, and again, thanks for our viewers for joining us, and thanks for coming to the Doghouse. Peace out.